Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from National Bison 6764 from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. And it says, am I the arsehole for honestly telling my girlfriend what I would change about her? Ooh. It says, I watched a TikTok where a couple asked each other what they would change about each other and they both said nothing. They are both perfect and they love each other very much, etc. So I thought, let me try this with my girlfriend, without filming of course. She said I wouldn't change anything about you. Maybe I would make you less anxious about everyday stuff so you wouldn't suffer. It's true, I tend to be very anxious and obsessive compulsive sometimes, but I'm dealing with it. Then she asked me what I would change about her. I told her I would like her to have her old body back, meaning before the pandemic when she was more muscular and a bit thinner. Also, I told her she could be less hairy in some areas like her face and arms, and I wish her hair was more cared for. I wouldn't change anything fundamental about her appearance. Maybe make her legs a little bit thinner, but all my requests are very much achievable with a little effort. She didn't seem to appreciate my comments. Her expression changed and she locked herself in her room without saying anything. We slept on different beds and the next day she told me something very hurtful. She said, I don't think that your appearance is perfect either. There are some issues, but I love you enough not to pester you about them. When I asked her what she meant, she replied that she wished I followed her skincare advice to get rid of my acne and that I would work out with her more. I told her the difference is that I was honest and she lied. She didn't say anything, but it was obvious that she had been crying the whole night. She went to her sister's house and hasn't been responding to my messages. So am I the arsehole for being honest? Deary bloody me, what an absolute burk. I mean, I think the conversation in itself is a daft one to even try and get into to begin with, but there was the opportunity, like she did, where you could have said something sweet, a moment where you could have done that instead of what you did, where she gave you genuine affection to begin with and was even showing some concern for your mental health, your well-being, and then you responded with a whole list of physical criticisms, and I wonder if you came into this conversation at the very beginning just so you could do that. And you made me feel ill when you were saying it's all very much achievable with little effort. You know, you basically told her that she's not trying hard enough to meet your standards. And I'll be very, very surprised if OP can turn this one around, because that just says instantly that that relationship is over. Commenter says, you're the arsehole. You saw an opportunity to confront your girlfriend about things you're not attracted to her under the guise of, oh, look how fun and sweet. You tricked her and made her feel like shit. Commenter says, yeah, OP is a massive arsehole. Even the way he wrote this up, you can tell he's trying to convince himself that it was for a TikTok trend. I hope for the girlfriend's sake that she can see what type of person he really is. No Wing says, and the fact that he can tell her something hurtful and excuses it because he says it's easily achievable. But when she treats him the same way, he says she was very hurtful, like what she did was worse. He can't play the victim here. Ursula says, and she wasn't hurtful at all. She was very kind. She said she wanted him to be less anxious, meaning she doesn't want him to suffer because she loves him. His response, you're fat and hairy. What? I'm just being honest. What the fuck? Commenter says, you're the arsehole. You saw a trend on TikTok of two people accepting each other and decided to use it as a way to nitpick your girlfriend's appearance. Sunshine says OP doesn't deserve a girlfriend until he can behave like a grown-up. You're the arsehole, OP. And trying to turn it around on her that she lied. You have a lot of work to do on yourself before you deserve a girlfriend. There is only one arsehole here, and that's you. Arsehole doesn't even begin to cover it, but I have to be civil. However, I will say, with all required respect, I have a very low opinion of you as a person. I hope you learn from your mistakes. Kugel says, ha, you fool. You fell victim to one of the classic blunders, the famous of which is never get involved in a land war in Asia. But only slightly less well known is never get in a conversation with your girlfriend about what you would change about each other. You're the arsehole. Spacey JC replies saying, inconceivable. And OP came in with a small but update and says, I get it. I'm the arsehole. I called and profusely apologized, but she said she would think of my comments every time I look at her, and it's something she can't just forget. My girlfriend of 4 years broke up with me, and now I see why. Thank you all for your comments. I just don't know how you get to that point to begin with. You see this trend on TikTok and you're thinking, oh, should I do this with my girlfriend? Is this a good idea? I mean, he's clearly got a list of things he wanted to change in his head before doing this. How can he have the list that he had in this post, thinking he's going to say this to his girlfriend and think it's not going to hurt her? That is wild. And exactly like the girlfriend in this situation, if someone, a partner said this to me, it would be over instantly because I wouldn't be able to see that person the same way again, exactly like OP's girlfriend. And some of the shit he said can cause real issues for people. Nasty. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story is one that's been covered in the past on this channel, but there's been a couple of new updates onto this one as well. So if you do want to skip parts of the story, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. It's from Environmental Okra 600, who says, my wife, 30 female, told me she never really felt in love with me, 32 male. We've been together 3 years. Is there any way back from this? My wife, 30 female, and I, 32 male, have been together for 3 years, married for about 2. We have a nearly 2-year-old daughter and have been through a lot in a short time. Moving in together, full-time jobs, a pregnancy, getting married, and even a miscarriage. It's been intense and emotional. I've always believed in us, and while we've had major struggles, I've kept fighting for our relationship. Recently, during a very honest conversation, she told me something that hit me hard. That after about 6 months of being together, she realized she didn't feel the feeling, that in love spark. And now 3 years in, she says she still doesn't feel it. She told me she's always struggled with identifying what being in love means. And now in therapy, she's been going for 4 months, she's starting to untangle those feelings. This is the first time she's ever said this out loud. She said she loves me, cares deeply about me, and sees me as family, but questions whether that love is enough. Whether it's true romantic love or just safety, familiarity, and shared life. It broke me, especially because I never knew she felt that way. She even admitted she has felt that spark in previous relationships, but those were chaotic or unsafe. With me, she says, everything felt right on paper. Stability, a daughter, a future, but never the feeling. We're both emotionally exhausted. I've made mistakes. I bottle up emotions, lash out when I'm overwhelmed, and I've said things I regret. I've just started therapy myself, 1 month in, and I'm fully committed to working on my part. For me, for her, for our daughter. She's been through a lot too, a rough upbringing. No clear example of love or family. This is her first long-term relationship, and I know it's been a lot. Too fast, pregnancy, marriage, building a life. We've been in a tornado, and maybe we didn't even fully get to know each other before life took over. There have also been some fundamental issues between us. Trust was broken early on, things she hid, contact with an ex, lies, secrets. We never really repaired that. Communication has also been really hard. Sometimes I feel like I can't fully express how I feel without it turning into conflict. It's like we're stuck in patterns that keep pulling us apart, and we've never fully built the solid base a relationship really needs. Still, despite all this, I love her. I've always made the choice to stay and build, and while our relationship isn't perfect, far from it, I've always seen something real and worth fighting for. We've had laughter, deep connection, love for our daughter, moments of peace and joy. I've seen us at our best, and I believed in us. Now we've agreed to take some space. Not a breakup, but real distance. She says she needs space to feel what's real for her without my presence influencing it. And I respect that, but I'm also scared. I'm scared that I'll be the only one fighting again, that I'm the only one willing to rebuild. Has anyone been through this? Can love grow when one person says they never felt in love to begin with? Is space like this helpful, or is it just a goodbye? I'm willing to give it time. I'm willing to work, but I'm also scared that she's already gone in her heart. I just don't know what's real anymore. I just needed to get this out. OP comes in with an update that was a day after the conversation and said, "Last night we finally had the big conversation. We kept it calm and honest. No yelling, no blaming, just truth. She told me more about how she's felt for a long time, and I shared everything I've been holding in. We talked about her doubts, my pain, our patterns, the broken trust. I went into the talk thinking maybe this space could be the beginning of something new, a reset. But after hearing her say she's never truly felt in love with me, and that she's been carrying that for years, it hit harder than I expected. I thought I could take space, but today I felt completely hollow. Like I'm the only one who ever fully believed in us." She said she needs space to understand her own feelings, to explore what love really means to her, and I respect that. But it still hurts like hell. We've agreed to keep some distance now, especially for our daughter's sake. I'm going to stay somewhere else for now. I told her I don't want to give up on us, but I can't be the only one willing to fight. Even with everything she's done, lies, broken trust, things that really hurt, I still love her. I know that might sound foolish, but I do, and I still want to give this a real chance. I just don't know if she does, and I'm scared she's already gone. And just a quick overview of the comments before the next update. There were some people relating to OP, some people saying she's already checked out and this relationship is done, others saying, this is the beginning of the end. But OP come in with an update 2 days later and says, "A few days ago I posted about my wife, 30 female, and I, 32 male. We've been together 3 years, married for 2, and have a young daughter. Our relationship moved fast, pregnancy, miscarriage, marriage, full-time jobs, and emotionally it's been heavy. We've both made mistakes, and we've both carried pain we never really talked about. In our last big conversation, she told me she was in love at first, and that she does love me deeply, but also said she never truly felt she could fully open up with me emotionally. That over the years, she didn't feel like she could say everything, like something was always missing in our connection, even if she wanted it. She's been in therapy for 4 months now, trying to untangle what love means to her. She had a rough upbringing, no real example of love or family, and I know she's been emotionally lost. We agreed to take some space, not to break up, but so she could figure out things without my presence clouding her judgment. I respected it. I moved out temporarily. But since that conversation, things got heavier. The new part. She finally admitted she had contact with her ex, long distance, on and off, for a year or more. I had suspected it, asked about it multiple times. Every time she said it was nothing, just friendly, just catching up. But it wasn't just that. I saw messages, flirting, multiple nudes sent. Meanwhile, in our relationship, I told her more than once that I'd love if she ever sent me something like that. She never did, but she did for him. She says it's over now, and part of her coming clean was being honest with herself too. But I don't know what to believe anymore. To cope, I booked a hotel. I didn't tell her. I just knew I needed space. I've been calm through this. I haven't yelled, haven't thrown blame, but I feel something inside of me cracking. And still, she's been physically affectionate the last couple of days, lying close to me in bed, holding me, seeking connection. It completely confuses me. It almost feels like love, or is it guilt, habit, attachment? I brought up our planned vacation in 2 weeks, told her I might just go alone. She froze, told me she wanted to go as a family. That line hit me in the gut. It made me feel both hopeful and completely lost at the same time. What's happening now? We're supposed to talk again today. I told her I need clarity. I'm writing this before that conversation because I don't trust myself to get everything out in the moment. These are things that I need to ask, and honestly, things I've been carrying for a while. Why this sudden affection lately? Is it love, confusion, or just not wanting to let go yet? What did she mean when she said she wants to go on vacation as a family? Is that real, or just something that sounds nice? And the hardest question, is my daughter mine? I'm almost sure she is, but during a past argument she mentioned her ex once asked if it was his child, and it planted a seed of doubt I can't ignore. I hate that I even have to ask this. Was her contact with her ex consistent this whole time? I found explicit photos 4 months ago, and once a year ago. She admitted the talking started way before. I assumed it never stopped, but I want to know the full truth. How long did it go on, and how deep was it really? I've been in therapy myself for a month. I'm facing my own stuff the way I shut down, avoid hard emotions, or lash out under pressure. I'm committed to growing, but right now I don't know if there's anything left to fight for. I don't even know if I want to stay, and that's new for me. I love her, but I'm hurt. And yeah, I'll admit this too. After she told me all this, I reached out to a couple of past hookups. I haven't acted on it, but the fact that I even wanted to shows me how far I've drifted from myself in all this. So here I am. We're about to talk, and I honestly don't know what I want to hear. Part of me wants her to fight for us. Part of me is done. Can something this broken be rebuilt if the love is real, but the trust and connection never fully were? Can two people come back from this level of damage, or are we just dragging out the end? And how do we know when it's time to stop trying? The OP does update again and says, my wife, 30 female, and I, 32 male, have been together for 3 years, married for 2, and we have a daughter who's almost 2. Recently, things finally broke open. She told me that although she loves me and was in love early on, she spent most of the relationship not feeling safe or emotionally at peace. She said that around 6 months into the relationship, that sense of rest started to disappear, and for most of the time she's felt disconnected. She wasn't the only one. We've both been walking on eggshells. We both have old wounds, and when those get triggered, we pull away, say the wrong things, or shut down. That pattern has chipped away at our connection. We've never really felt calm together for long, but we never said it. Until now. This past week, Monday and yesterday, we've had the most open conversations we've ever had. More honesty than we've shared in years, but it's also shown us how fragile things have become. I found out she had a long-term on and off contact with her ex. That shook me, especially when I saw intimate photos on her phone and heard that he once asked if our child might be his. That broke me. She says the photos were from before our relationship, and I don't care what happened before that, and that she didn't send anything while we were together. I found also some pictures in our relationship in her gallery. She also said she blocked him immediately after that "is it my child" comment. I believe her mostly, but somewhere inside my trust still questions it. Honestly, I booked a hotel and left the house abruptly because I truly believe she had cheated during our relationship. At that moment, everything in me was convinced something happened I didn't fully know. Now, after all the talks and her explanations, I don't know if I'd call it cheating. There were definitely things that hurt, things that crossed emotional lines, but I can't label it 100% as cheating. That confusion is still in me. What really bothers me is this. My ex also contacted me multiple times during our relationship, and I never replied. That was a clear boundary. She didn't draw that same line, and that difference in boundaries makes me question how aligned we really are when it comes to loyalty and emotional safety. That said, I don't want this whole story to be reduced to just the ex. That's one part of it, but the bigger truth is we both came into this relationship with heavy baggage. I've struggled with depression for a long time. I shut down emotionally. I didn't always create a safe space either. She has her wounds, I have mine. We've both failed each other in different ways, and the cracks started before this latest breaking point and only got worse. We never really talked deeply about our struggles or what came after the fights. We just moved on. I told her I needed space, and I left. She didn't expect me to actually go, but I had to finally listen to myself. We've agreed I'll stay away until at least Wednesday. Our daughter is safe and cared for, no conflict there. We've paused all vacation plans and upcoming weekends. Nothing is forced, no more pretending. Right now I'm focusing on my mental health, my business, and figuring out what I really want, not just what I'm afraid to lose. I've also stopped all contact with the flings I messaged out of pain. That wasn't who I want to be. If I want to do right by my daughter and by myself, I have to face this clean. If this continues, it has to be something entirely new. The relationship we had is over. The patterns, the assumptions, the silence. If we try again, it'll be a full reset. If not, it's closure. We both understand that now. This is emotionally draining, and honestly, I don't know what I want yet. I just need rest. I need to write everything out so I don't lose myself. Questions I struggle with. If anyone's been here, have you ever rebuilt a relationship after emotional trust was broken? And how did you know it was worth it? How do you reset something when the foundation was never strong to begin with? Thanks to everyone who commented on my earlier posts. Even the hard ones helped. Update again after Wednesday. And I couldn't help But notice one of the main things to jump out to me in this one was, the questioning if his daughter is his, and the ex was questioning if the daughter was his as well. But OP was still like, they haven't physically cheated. I was like, what? If he's questioning that, they've absolutely physically cheated, right? So OP comes in with another update, gives a brief summary of what happened, and then said, right now, I still love her, but I'm broken. She hugs me, she's affectionate again, she wants to go on holiday together this weekend like a family. But I saw her phone, and she told him she loves him. And this is a man who lives abroad, a man who's married, a man she still clings to emotionally, while standing beside me like nothing's wrong. I've realized something harsh but clear. She's been manipulating me for a long time, telling half-truths, changing stories, saying I'm misunderstood when caught, gaslighting me. She never gave us, our family, a real chance. Here's what I've done and I'm doing now. I did a DNA test for our daughter. I needed peace of mind. I'll love her no matter what, but I need certainty. I mailed it this week, results in about a week. I'm securing housing, finances, and legal protections quietly. I'm not telling her yet, not until I got everything stable. I will not move in with my parents. I'm rebuilding my own foundation, not running away. I've ended contact with anyone I messaged out of hurt. That wasn't me. I want to stay clean in all of this. Why I'm doing it this way? Because this time I have to choose me. Because confronting chaos when you're unprepared only makes it worse. Because I want my daughter to grow up watching her father stand strong, not be broken. Other things that came to light recently. She regularly sought validation from other men. Texting, flirting, DMs. Sex faded in our relationship. She never opened up emotionally. Always evasive. We lost 2 cats, had a miscarriage, and never really healed from it. After pregnancy, she emotionally disconnected. I fell into a depression, but I still showed up as a partner, as a father. I kept thinking I was the one who couldn't connect, but now I see clearly. She never gave me the chance. Some people in earlier posts told me I should have walked the moment I saw the messages. I wasn't ready then. I needed to see clearly. Now, I still don't, but I have to. An important clarification. I didn't believe she physically cheated, not with her ex, he lives abroad, but emotionally, absolutely. She told him she loved him. I found out by accident through her phone, not her words. That betrayal matters. Again, jumping in here, I'm really confused about that moment because why would the ex be questioning if the daughter is his if they've not met physically in some way? He may be abroad now, but people can travel, right? But OP continues, why I haven't told her yet. Because I'm not going to make the same mistake again, reacting emotionally without a plan. I'm protecting myself. I'm building something real behind the scenes, so when I walk with strength, not chaos. What's next? We're still going on holiday this weekend. I don't know how I'm going to fake it, but I will. Calm, focused. Because this is no longer about fighting for her. It's about fighting for me and for my daughter. When I've got everything in place, housing, clarity, legal prep, I'll tell her. Likely through a letter, and I'll walk away. Not out of hate, but out of deep, deep pain and self-respect. Final thoughts. She broke me, but I won't let this be the end of me. She may have destroyed what we had, but I get to choose how I build what's next. I still love her, but now I love myself more. And to be honest, if one day she truly changes, not just in words, but in actions, in self-awareness, in honesty, maybe there's a version of the future where we reconnect in some form. But I'm not waiting for that. Right now, this version of us is over. What helped you finally break free from someone who kept pulling you back emotionally, even when you knew they weren't truly there for you? Commodore says, how old is your daughter? What if she's not your daughter? Opie says almost 2. I believe she is, but because of all this nonsense, I don't know it for sure. Waiting for results, probably in a few days. Commodore says, I would definitely consult a divorce lawyer if you have the finances for it. But I would wait for the results of the DNA test since that is only a week. Opie says I'll wait for the test anyway. I'm already looking for a place to stay. Step by step. But now it's looking at me. Even though it hurts terribly. So Opie came back in a month later and said it's been about a month since my last update. For context, here are the earlier posts if you want the full story, and shares the link. Since then, so much has happened that I barely recognize my own life anymore. The DNA test came back. My daughter is mine. I never doubted my love for her, but having the certainty gave me some peace. I won't tell her I did the test. My wife went on vacation alone with our daughter because she needed the space to think. I stayed behind. When she came back, she slipped back into her everything is fine mode as if nothing had happened. About a week later, I confronted her with what I knew. She finally admitted and told me she cheated, also physically. The last time was about 4 months ago. During that period, we were literally house hunting together, and she also went through a miscarriage, so I'm thinking she did it all on purpose and used me. Her response? That's a closed chapter for me. I don't owe you accountability for something months ago. I don't need to tell you any details. Those were her words. No ownership, no responsibility. She still insists all her actions, the lies, the cheating, the manipulation, happened because of how I treated her. Somehow, I'm always the problem. The practical side of things right now. She suggested moving to her parents' house for a few months while I stay here with our daughter. I agreed for now because finding housing has been difficult. On paper, we're still married, so technically the house is still ours. I currently care for our daughter 4 to 5 days a week at our house. Mutual agreement. That was our agreement. Truthfully, I've always carried more of the responsibility for her anyway. Only now it's just out in the open. But it eats at me. What kind of mother so easily hands over most of the care of her 2-year-old? Is that normal, or is that just another sign of how disconnected she really is? Emotionally, I feel like I'm getting hit with a new punch every day. Some detail, some lie, some twist of the story I hadn't seen before. On top of that, I've realized she paints me as the bad guy to everyone around her. She never tells them what she's done, only how I've treated her. So in their eyes, I'm the problem. And that hurts. And here's the biggest shift in me. For a long time, I told myself if we split, I'd just pack my clothes and walk out, leave her everything. That was me trying to take the high road. But not anymore. Not after everything. Now I'm ready to fight for what's mine, for what I've built, and for what I have every right to. Because honestly, looking back, she'd been cheating the entire relationship. If not physically, then emotionally. Always attention seeking. Always validation from men. Always secrets. So here I am now. I'm considering filing for divorce in 2 months, so the court also can see I'm providing structural for our daughter. I'm thinking about fighting to keep this house, not just walking away. I'm realizing I've been carrying the weight of fatherhood far more than her, and maybe it's time that gets recognized legally too. I guess my question to you all is this. When the person you love has made you the bad guy in everyone else's eyes, when they've cheated and lied and twisted everything, do you still try to take the high road and walk away clean, or do you fight until the end for what's yours? I'm exhausted, but maybe this is time I finally stop letting her set the story. The only thing I care about is my daughter. So that was OP's last current update, and obviously commenters had something to say about this. The first one said, expose her infidelity to your inner circle so they can support you and shut down any attempt from your soon-to-be ex-cheating wife to slander you or paint you as the villain. Grey rocker and begin the divorce process immediately. If you're still hesitating, at the very least have a serious consultation with a divorce attorney to fully understand your options. You owe yourself respect. Continuing to tolerate her toxic behavior will only delay your healing and recovery. Things will only get better once you start prioritizing yourself. You become a better father once you put to rest the dead marriage that she chose to destroy. She is no longer the woman you loved or the one you married, and maybe she never was. The sooner you grasp that harsh reality and accept it, the sooner you'll heal and open the door to true happiness. Opie says it's still the mother of my child, and I don't see what advantage it has if I expose her to my circle. The reason for starting the process in 2 months is because I can prove I take care of my daughter most of the time in our house. I also think I can really process it if we are divorced. Commodore says, your wife just handed you an early divorce present by abandoning your daughter. Her leaving and completely or almost completely leaving your daughter with you should help the upcoming custody agreement. You are doing the right thing by focusing on your daughter and planning your exit strategy correctly. Opie replies saying this is the only reason why I want to sit these 3 months out, so I have proof that helps me for the divorce. That's also the only reason why I'm not applying for divorce straight away. One more commenter says, why wait 2 months to pass? File now for divorce and sole custody. I think you'll find that your wife is not interested in permanent care of your daughter. Opie says, I think she won't expect the divorce straight away. With things already happened, I'm afraid that she will also want to take the kids away from me. That's the only reason why I now first want to have some proof about the care of our daughter. OP keeps mentioning about walking away cleanly from this, but mate, nothing about this is clean. This is messy in whatever way you tell it. As the advice always says in stories like this, document everything, get a solicitor, and stop letting her control the narrative. Tell people who will support you around you exactly what she's been up to. You're not fighting, you're protecting your daughter and claiming what you've actually built. And you just need to let go of this fantasy, maybe if she changes. Because she's not going to change. This isn't going to change until you make a choice. And that choice needs to be about you and your daughter. Anything else is a detriment to you two. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon.